Welcome to the Faded Wildflower Crochet. This is going to be a little bit of a different video than normal for me. I thought I would just be cozy on my couch and do like a little crochet and chat style video. I did not script this. I have no idea what exactly is going to come out of my mouth or if this video will ever see the light of day, but here I am. I am crocheting a goat, by the way, for my Etsy shop, a custom goat. I will not finish it in this video, but I'll try to remember to insert a photo at the end of what the goat looks like, but that's what I'm working on. So I really wanted to talk about what it has been like starting a YouTube channel as a 37-year-old. Which I know that 37 is not old, right? 37 is young in a lot of ways, but it's also old to be starting something new, I think. I think it's that more than anything. I suppose I would probably be feeling the same way if I was like going back to school or starting a brand new profession or something like that. But starting on YouTube at my age is also really interesting because I feel like most people that are on YouTube at my age have been here for a while, or a lot of people that started YouTube that are my age have now already quit YouTube. So it's really interesting to just now be starting. And to be honest, I have wanted to do this for a really, really, really long time, but I just didn't think I had what it took. That's honestly what held me back. I always hear people talk about how if you want to be a content creator, to be on YouTube or anything where you're opening yourself up to comments, that you need to have really thick skin. And I do not. I'm a very, very sensitive person. I'm a highly sensitive person. If you know about that criteria of like what makes you a highly sensitive person, I fit every box. I'm sensitive to loud noises. I'm sensitive to just the environments that I'm in, but I'm also very sensitive to criticism and to people telling me that I'm not good enough. And so far that has not happened. I will say that the comments that I have gotten so far have been so kind, just so encouraging and sweet. And I know that hateful comments will probably eventually come, right? I mean, I think it's kind of a rite of passage, but I think at the age I am, I think something that finally pushed me over the edge of deciding to do this, even though I am intimidated, is that I kind of recognize at this age that people who say negative things, it says so much more about them than it does about me. So I think that I recognize that now. And I wish that's something that I would have learned earlier in my life. But I'm happy to be learning it now. And I'm happy to finally feel at least a little bit of a sense of confidence. I've never been a very confident person. I have always been self-conscious to the point where it has held me back from doing a lot of things that I want to do in life because I'm just not sure of myself. And now that I am 37 and I'm starting YouTube, and I'm starting YouTube specifically as a crochet content channel, and I look around and a lot of the other popular crochet channels are much younger than me, in their 20s. And I'm not saying that they don't deserve their fame or their what they've gotten at all. I just feel a little bit intimidated. Like I wish that I would have done this at their age instead of waiting until now. So I spent my 20s, falling in love, getting married, having kids. And I did start my crochet business in my 20s, which I'm happy that I started my Etsy shop when I did and kind of got my footing when I did before I had kids, because then it just became this very comfortable thing to be able to continue to do because I already learned that skill. So I think that's something I just didn't realize or didn't think about, was that starting a YouTube channel is learning a brand new skill. Even though I am crocheting on this channel, which is something that I know how to do, I don't know so much about what it takes to make content. I have had to learn a whole new set of skills, which I really just didn't think about. To be honest, I think I was so in my head about like, should I do it? Can I even handle this? That I really didn't think about the fact that I was going to have to learn how to edit. I had to learn how to, I had to buy a microphone. I've never bought a microphone before. I have a ring light and all of these things that I just have never done before, making thumbnails and thinking about like, clickbaity titles and stuff. I don't know. It's just something that it's a different mindset. It's something completely different than just crochet. Even though right now I'm crocheting, which is something that I know how to do. I'm crocheting for my shop. The only difference is I set up a camera, but that's kind of what I thought. I thought I'll just set up a camera. It's going to be the same thing that I always do, but it's really not the same thing. It's a different skill. And I think I have been a little bit frustrated with myself because I'm like, why am I not getting this? Why is this so hard for me? It's just crocheting, but it's not just crocheting. It's a brand new skill, which is content creation. And I just really didn't think about that before. I'm not sure why I didn't think about that, but I didn't. But, crocheting in itself is a skill that I learned. And then setting up a business was a step that I learned. And now transitioning into content creation is another skill. So they all correlate and they all kind of cohesively go together, but they're all different skills that I'm having to learn. So it's really interesting. I really never thought that, back in my 20s, that I would be here. I didn't know if I had what it took to do this. And I'm kind of learning that I do, I think. And that even though my audience is still very small, I really think that I can grow and that I can do it and that I can get there, but it's really intimidating and it's really scary. So I'm not sure why I feel scared. And sometimes I think about that, or not really scared, but intimidated. Like I said, I look at these people that are younger than me. They know how to work social media. They've had social media their whole lives. They know what to do. They know how to, work the algorithms and all of this stuff that I don't know how to do. I know how to crochet. That is a skill that I've honed over 14 years. I don't know how to work social media. That's brand new. So I think I'm just learning to be patient with myself, to know that it's going to take some time. It took me some time with my Etsy shop when I first started. It's not like I came out the gate swinging and was like, oh, I know everything about this. It took a lot of time for me to learn not just like the ins and outs of, how to make a product and make a listing and post it, but also to interact with my customers, how to, deal with all of the, I have been very, very lucky. I was going to say dealing with criticism, but honestly, I have been pretty lucky to have cultivated a client base that is amazing. I've had very, very few negative interactions. I have gotten, and there's been a couple things here and there where it's been people complaining about my prices or, that kind of thing. But honestly, I've been so lucky to not really deal with that a lot. And so I think that it's funny because I've had that mindset about my business and telling other people like, hey, you can do this. Like, I don't get that much negative critique, and you probably won't either. But then translating that over into YouTube, I feel like is maybe a different story, or in my head it was a different story. Like, I am opening myself up to not just this clientele of people that see my body of work and decide to buy a plushie from me. I'm also opening myself up to anybody who has, internet connection and can click on a video. And I still am dealing with that hesitancy of, oh my gosh, people could say mean things to me. People could leave mean comments on this video right now. And I have to kind of steel myself for that, but at the same time, continue to recognize that if they do have something mean to say, then it's probably just their own insecurities, right? I don't know. I really don't know how that works, because I don't think I've ever left a mean comment in my life. I don't really understand the need to do that. It must be some sort of psychological like release for somebody to be like, take their anger out on somebody else. I don't know. I don't understand it, but I can recognize at this point in my life that, I'm not doing anything controversial. I'm crocheting on the internet. So if somebody has something negative to say to me about that, then it really is just, it says a whole lot more about them. So that's kind of the main thing that pushed me over the edge to start a YouTube channel. But I think that it hasn't been that long. It hasn't even been it's been about 2 months. My first long form video was posted January 6th, I believe. I had this goal for the new year. So I don't make resolutions really, but I do tend to pick a word for the year and have that be sort of my mantra, or just something that I keep in mind when I'm deciding what to do for the year. So my word for this year is dare, which is like dare to blank, dare to be brave, dare to put myself out there, dare to do things I haven't done before. So that's not my comfort zone. I am an introvert. Like, I am the biggest introvert that ever introverted. I love the people that I love, but I also love being by myself. I love being cozy in my home with my dog, and I'm pretty happy with that life for the most part. But I think sometimes it's hard when you are a parent who that takes up half my life. Being a small business owner takes up the other half of my life. I have just really no time to make friends and to put myself out there. And when I have tried in the past, trying to join like mom groups and stuff, I really have not had the best luck ever. I have been lucky to find some good friends in my life, but I don't live close to any of them right now, which is really hard. And I think it's part of why I turned on this camera today and decided to chat to a camera and hopefully get feedback from real life people, because I think that it's hard to find the time anymore to do the things that you would do when you're younger, to find friends and find like-minded people. And I'm also very socially anxious, like diagnosed. I have an anxiety disorder, and so I think that putting myself out there in a very physical sense is really hard. I still want to do that because it is my goal for the year to put myself out there, but I am putting myself out there digitally. And so far, I'm trying to think. I'm like, is it worth it? Is YouTube worth it? Is putting myself out there, has it been worth it? Sometimes I'm like, no, it hasn't been. Here's the thing that I just really didn't think about or really consider, along with the fact that I didn't consider that social media is a new skill. I didn't really consider that just putting myself out there and putting out the content and putting a lot of effort. Okay, that's what it is. I didn't consider that putting a lot of effort into my videos, which I do. I put a lot of effort and time and consideration and care into my videos. And I just don't always get the feedback that I'm hoping for. I feel like, and this is again, like, not to like knock anyone specifically in any kind of way. And honestly, like, most of the crochet content that I watch, those people are putting out so much effort. So I can't say that about my own niche. But when I just look around at like what's popular, let's just say that, like, what gets the clicks, what gets the views, it's totally not the type of content that I'm making. I really want to cultivate this sort of slow, calming type of environment for my videos. And I watch these like YouTube videos of like how to grow your audience, how to have the best thumbnail, how to have the best intro and all this stuff. And it's very like, look at Mr. Beast and he's doing this. And I'm like, that's great for him. That's great for any of these really popular YouTubers, but that's not me. I can't, or I could, I guess, but it wouldn't be genuine for me to make content where I am changing what I'm doing every 1.6 seconds or something like that. No, I mean, that's not, first of all, that's not what crocheting is. Crocheting takes a long time. And I really hope to cultivate an audience of people who can appreciate that, who can understand that my videos are not that. My videos are not like, you know, for the people who have no attention span. And I know that there are people out there that watch these sort of slow videos. I do. I watch these type of videos. So I know that there is an audience out there, but trying to get my videos in front of them, you know, like I said, I really just thought that making the quality content, putting it out there, and just letting YouTube do the rest. I'm just like, oh, they'll put my videos out there, but honestly, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. I really can't understand it or figure it out. And like I said, I watch these like YouTube tutorials of how to grow your channel, and it's doing things that aren't in line with the type of channel that I want to create, if that makes any sense. So, and I think sometimes YouTube just really doesn't know what to do with my videos. For instance, my avatar video where I made Uncle Iroh dog hair in my crochet work, where I made Uncle Iroh, that video, it YouTube just really didn't know what to do with it. I can go in and look and see the videos that it got recommended under, and it was all like these weird like cartoon like fan edits and stuff, and not even like avatar related ones, just like kind of random. Like there was even like some Adventure Time, like it was recommending me under some, I'm like, this wasn't even my Adventure Time video. And it was kind of the same thing with the Adventure Time video. YouTube just doesn't quite know. And again, it's like, it's an algorithm. It's AI, right? That's doing this. They're like, oh, I see a cartoon in the thumbnail, so that must mean that I need to recommend this to people that are watching like cartoon fan edits, but that's not my audience. And I get frustrated. I think that I don't get to like go in and manually pick my audience. That's just not how it works. And I can post on social media, but again, like getting your stuff in front of people on social media is hard. And so I don't know. I think I just need to be patient with myself. So it's going to take some time. It's going to take some consistency. It's going to take some continued effort with maybe not a lot of results. You know, I think you put a lot of time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears. You hear YouTubers talk about this all the time, right? Like how much effort it really takes to make a YouTube video. And I'm not even really making videos with like a whole lot of editing or a whole lot of like over the top. Like I'm not making like week long or weeks long videos where I'm, you know, making these giant projects, kind of making these small things. But even still, it takes me an entire day and sometimes multiple days to film. And then it takes me a few more days after that to edit. And the video is like 9 minutes long, but you don't see all of that other effort behind the scenes. And also just like the planning and the, you know, making the reels and the shorts and the TikToks and stuff, trying to advertise, trying to get new ideas for videos and that kind of stuff. And it's a lot of work. And so far, of course, I don't see any monetary gain from it. And I haven't really had a whole lot of other types of gain from it either. And it's like I said, the comments that I have gotten so far have been so kind and so sweet and encouraging and uplifting. And that just really, it really means the world to me. But I just feel like sometimes, like I said, I put in a lot of effort, and then I see people who, going back to like what I was saying earlier, I see people who don't really put a lot of effort into their videos. The amount of effort that you put in doesn't necessarily correlate to the results that you're going to see. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you look at these things that go viral on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, and you're like, how is that the thing that got all the views while this other thing over here took a lot of effort and time and energy and thought, and it gets no views? And, you know, and I'm not specifically talking about my niche, because the fact of the matter is, like, crocheting takes a lot of time no matter what. It is a time heavy craft. But I'm speaking more about just content creation in general, and how people just don't always get to see the fruits of their labor. And I'm running into that right now as somebody who, I put so much effort into what I do, no matter what it is. Like, yeah, I hear you. I put so much effort into my videos, into my products, into the designs that I've been coming up with for crochet patterns. I put effort into everything that I do. There's nothing that you see on the internet from me that has not been thought about in every direction. And I just don't think that always gets the amount of, you know, praise and attention. It's like, well, is that what I'm looking for? Am I looking for, I'm not looking for fame. I'm not looking for, you know, to go viral. I'm not looking for all this attention and praise and accolades. Am I? Like, is that what I'm looking for? Like, what am I have to kind of think, what am I doing this for then? And yeah, to a certain extent, I do want my stuff to be seen, or else I wouldn't be making it, right? But I think it's more about cultivating a community of people who appreciate this kind of stuff. I do hope to find people that do have a passion for crochet just like I do, but I also hope to find people who really appreciate other people's passions. And that was a comment that I got from, it was actually my husband's best friend. If you're watching, hi. He told me, he watched one of my videos and he texted me. He was like, I am in and I love this. I like seeing you be passionate. He's like, I don't care anything about crochet, but I love watching you make these things because I can tell that you're knowledgeable and passionate. And I'm like, yes, that's it. Like, those are the type of people that I want to bring into this community. So I think that it's a very different mindset to, yes, I get excited to get views and comments and praise and attention, but I really want to cultivate a community here. And that's not an easy thing to do. And I just think that's not always what gets attention on this app or on any app, to be honest. Like, it's just not what people are always looking for. They are looking to, you just don't think about it. When you click on YouTube, you're looking to be entertained. And I do hope to entertain people, don't get me wrong, but I'm also hoping to cultivate an audience, like I said, to cultivate a community of people who are, like-minded, who have the same sort of mindset as me, of people who want this sort of slower content of just like talking to a camera like I'm doing today, or making something, and they really put a lot of effort and thought into the things that they make, into the things that they do, into the things that they watch. I'm really hoping to be that type of content creator. And I really just didn't think about that when I started out. It was just an effort for me to even get started, that I didn't even really think about where I wanted it to go. I couldn't really see past getting started. I was like, I need to get started. I need to get started. I need to get started. And then I finally got started and I'm like, okay, now I'm here. Now what do I want? What do I want to see next? What do I want to gain? What am I here for? And I think maybe a lot of people will think about that first, but I didn't. I really didn't. I didn't think about the type of people that I wanted to watch my videos. I kind of just started and am learning as I go. And I think that that's really something that I have learned about myself, is that works for me. I was like that with Etsy. When I started my Etsy shop, Etsy was not a household name like it is now. I mean, everybody knows what Etsy is now, but back then, I guess it was like 2012. Yeah, 2012. When I started my Etsy shop, it was not known. People did not know what Etsy was. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this thing. And I learned as I went along and it worked for me. And I think my mindset sometimes is like, I need to learn everything about this. I need to do every little angle of research. But that just doesn't always work for me. I think I kind of need to be the type of person that learns as I go, which is something that my parents always told me growing up, is that they're like, you have to learn everything the hard way, don't you? And I do. I have to learn things for myself. I have to learn by doing. And that, it's the same thing with crocheting. I did not learn crocheting from like watching YouTube videos or anything like that. At the time, that barely existed. I learned from a library book and I learned just by like picking up my hook and some yarn. Actually, I gathered up my yarn and a hook and a library book, and I knew that I was going to be snowed in for a long amount of time. We were expecting a big snowstorm, and I just sat down and made myself do it. And I learned by doing, and I think really a lot of patterns and stuff didn't exist back then for what I wanted to make. So I learned by doing. And you know, it's sort of the same thing right now with YouTube. Like, I'm learning as I go, and I do want to take in feedback from other people, but for the most part, I'm sort of just learning as I go. Something I think about all the time is, would my younger self look at me now and be proud? And I think for the most part, the answer is yes. My younger self, I've always been an artist of some kind. I've always loved drawing and creating. And I think that she would look at what I'm doing now and recognize, yeah, I'm doing art. I get to do art for a living. I think that she would be proud that I'm doing something that makes me nervous and doing it anyway because it's what I believe in and it's what I want to do. I think I've always been a little bit of a late bloomer. It's always taken me a little bit longer to process things and to like I said, I like to think about things before I do them. And I think that that has not always served me well. And it's taken me a lot of time to learn certain things about myself, and being the age that I am now and realizing that I missed out on a lot of things that I can't do now because I'm married and I have kids, and you know, I can't just pick up and go do things the way that you can when you're younger. And so I do feel sometimes like a little bit of a letting go of the past, and I can't go back and I can't do those things. You know, I'm really thankful that I started my shop in my 20s, and I'm now able to continue to do that work, to make plushies for people for a living. And now I'm trying to, like I said, transition into content creation and hopefully make that a part of my job. If we want to talk about goals for this channel, I would love to be monetized one day. I would love to be able to have this be, I would love to be able to see the fruits of my labor. I would love to see this eventually be monetized. As far as just goals for my business in general, I would love to see more monetary gain from the patterns that I'm creating. I would love to be able to maybe one day make a book of patterns and sell that. I want to be able to sell in person in some sort of capacity. That is a goal of mine this year, to sell at some sort of market or at like a shop or something like that, like a consignment type shop. I've done that before. I've had some really good success with consignment work at shops, but I would love to get involved somewhere, somehow, locally, actually make some connections with people in person, as hard as that is for me, again, as a socially anxious person. So I would love to see this channel be monetized one day. I would love to continue to put the effort out and make videos and cultivate a community. I would love to get more monetary gain from my patterns, and I would love to do something in person this year. So those are kind of my goals and my things that I want to see accomplished this year in 2024. If nothing else, I feel accomplished in a way just because I started this channel. And like I said, sometimes I'm like, is it worth it? Is it worth all of this effort? I think there's like a sound going around on Instagram right now. It's like, all this work, and what did it get me? And I'm like, I feel that sometimes, like all of this work, all of this effort, all of this, like, you know, blood, sweat, and tears and stress. And what has it gotten me? And I'm like, the fact of the matter is, it's gotten me a lot of confidence, a lot of realizing that, like, oh my gosh, I can do this. Like, even though it's hard, I'm doing it. Even though I feel like, so I do yoga, and I do the videos Yoga with Adrienne. I'm sure if you do yoga, you've heard of her. And one thing that she always says is like, getting on the mat is the hardest part. She's like, the hardest part is over. You're here, you're on the mat. And I sort of feel like that now that I'm here. I'm like, the hardest part was actually just starting this YouTube channel. And now I'm here. And now I'm making these goals. And now I'm making these plans for the future. And we'll see where it takes me. But thank you for being here, for joining along, for those of you that I see you. I see those of you that comment on every single video, every short. I really appreciate you. I don't think you understand how much that means. It just took you like 1 second, 1 second out of your day to make that comment, but it really makes my whole day. Again, thank you for watching. I don't know what this video was. And again, I don't even know that it will see the light of day. So if you're watching this, then hey, it made it to YouTube. But thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here, and subscribe if you want to, like the video, all the things, follow me on social media, and I'll see you next time in a video that's probably going to be very different than this one.